Welcome to our discussion, folks. We've got some pretty intense views on US Iran tensions and implications for Israel tonight.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot to unpack, especially with that explosive title. Israel will lose and Netanyahu will be out, from Colonel Larry Wilkerson.
Right, exactly. Now, the key idea here is that Colonel Wilkerson, former Chief of Staff to Secretary of State Colin Powell, is painting a picture where Israel is running out of missiles, while the US itself is also depleting its stock to support them.
Yeah.
It's a stark warning.
I mean, that's a heavy claim. And isn't it interesting how the framing suggests not just military exhaustion, but also a political downfall? Netanyahu being ousted as a consequence?
Yep, exactly. It's like he's linking the diminishing military capabilities directly to the political future of Israel. Like his argument is that if the missiles run low, then the whole strategic game shifts, which could undermine Netanyahu's position.
Yeah, for sure. And what caught my attention too is that this message comes from a military figure with a lot of experience, his involvement with Colin Powell and all that. It lends a certain gravity to his words, wouldn't you say?
Totally. Though it's also controversial because such assessments often stir up debate. I mean, it's like saying, hey, the tactical and strategic balance is tipping, and that really challenges the status quo.
Absolutely. Right, and I wonder, does he offer any concrete data or just, broad warnings?
Well, his remarks are pretty shorthand. He mentions Israel is running out of missiles and adds that the US too is running out of missiles to give them, which is like a dramatic way to highlight dwindling military resources.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's hyperbolic in a way. And doesn't that seem a bit oversimplified? Military logistics are typically more nuanced, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah. On one hand, it's a rallying cry of sorts, warning of vulnerability, but on the other, it might be playing up the drama to make a political point. Kind of like using a sledgehammer where maybe a scalpel is needed.
That's a good analogy. Exactly. And then there's the broader context of US-Iran tensions. It's not just about missiles or stockpiles, but also about the geopolitical chess game going on in the region.
Right, it's like an intricate 4D chess match where every piece, be it missile counts or political figures, plays a critical role. His message implies that when one side starts to falter, Israel in this case, the whole board shifts dramatically.
Yep, indeed. And one of the most interesting aspects here is the idea that internal political shifts might follow these military setbacks. What do you make of that, really?
Well, it's quite intriguing. Essentially, he's saying that if Israel's defenses and arms supplies weaken, then the political foundation, including leadership like Netanyahu's, could crumble under pressure.
That makes sense. But don't you think that could be a bit of an oversimplification of what is otherwise a very complex geopolitical issue?
Absolutely, I'd say so. I mean, let's be honest, geopolitics involves myriad factors: alliances, economic pressures, even public opinion. Yet, his argument cuts right to a central point. If you run out of ammunition, especially in critical moments, then leadership credibility takes a nosedive.
Yeah, that ties together well. Sure, and it's fascinating that this discussion is taking place on platforms like YouTube, through shows such as Journalistically Speaking with Rick Sanchez. It really democratizes the military analysis conversation, don't you think?
Definitely, it's like how traditional media has been disrupted by these voices that are willing to question prevailing narratives. It's like a mix between insider military perspective and, accessible commentary that's sparking broader debate.
Absolutely right. And what do you think about the timing? This came out as tensions between the US and Iran escalate. It almost sounds like a warning shot along the timeline of conflict.
Oh, for sure. The timing definitely isn't coincidental. It's like he's positioning his remarks as both a prediction and a cautionary note. The idea that the missile supply, and by extension military readiness, is diminishing puts additional pressure on decision makers.
Exactly. I can imagine that such predictions, even if they are extreme, can have significant repercussions on how policy is debated among, military analysts and politicians.
True. And while some might say that his forecast is overly dire, it does at least force a conversation regarding whether current resources and strategies are robust enough to handle escalated conflicts.
Definitely, yeah. Now, here's a thought. Could there be even more complexity underlying the missile supply issue? I mean, modern military logistics extend beyond just missiles, right?
Absolutely right. There's a whole network of supply chains, rearmament protocols, and even technological advancements that can somewhat offset the shortage. But the point he's raising is that without quick replenishment or strategic partnerships, even a
I
shortfall
see
can
that.
spell danger.
That being said, isn't there also a risk that such public warnings might escalate tensions further rather than, say, inviting a strategic recalibration?
Oh, that's a solid point. These pronouncements can be like adding fuel to the fire. They generate debate, trigger reassessments, and sometimes even cause overreactions, both in public opinion and at policy levels.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe that's why some critiques suggest that his tone is more of a political provocation than a measured military analysis.
Exactly, he does stir the pot. It forces people to reconsider what might happen if things go south, like a domino effect where once the missiles and the momentum run out, you see massive political fallout. But I wonder if that risk is being overstated for dramatic effect.
That's fair. It's a fascinating interplay between military realities and political narratives. And I guess that, in some ways, that's the essence of current global geopolitical discussions.
Absolutely, it's an ever evolving story. You've got the military logistics on one end and political leadership and strategy on the other. And they feed into each other like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, totally. So, overall, while Cole Wilkerson's statements certainly raise alarms, it's key to consider them as part of a larger debate where context and nuance are critical.
Right. And that's exactly where strategic debates need to head, analyzing not just the what, but the why and the how. It's a reminder that in geopolitical conflicts, weapons, leadership, and narratives are deeply intertwined.
Spot on. And, these discussions really showcase the power of media platforms to question authority and present alternative visions of what might be coming.
Right. It's like a call to think critically about the messages we receive, especially when they come from sources with a storied background in military strategy. It shakes up the perspective of everyday citizens and policymakers alike.
Well, it definitely leaves us with plenty to think about regarding the future of Israeli strategy and U.S. support in the region. The conversation is far from over, it seems.
Couldn't agree more. And as we watch these developments, it reminds us how essential it is to remain critically engaged with both the military and political narratives that shape our world.
Absolutely. Here's hoping that amidst all the hyperbole and caution, leaders on all sides can step back and address the real underlying challenges with a balanced approach.
Exactly, a balanced approach that recognizes both the industrial military logistics and the ever shifting political sands of the region. Thanks for such an engaging dialogue today.
Yep, indeed. And thanks to everyone tuning in. Keep questioning, keep thinking, and stay informed.